It was a bright spring morning in Lafayette, Indiana, April 14, 2017, when 42-year-old Matthew Langford was found dead in his home, face down in the living room, his cell phone still clutched in his hand. His dog, Boomer, had been barking non-stop for hours, alerting neighbors to something deeply wrong. Matthew wasn't just any man, he was a beloved high school history teacher, known for his charisma, dedication, and a community presence that made his sudden death all the more jarring. There was no sign of forced entry, no weapon was found, but the scene was odd. A single framed photo of him and his estranged wife, Rachel Langford, had been turned face down. At first, the coroner ruled it a cardiac arrest, but days later toxicology changed everything. Matthew had been poisoned with a rare neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin, the kind found in pufferfish. It was a murder. Police zeroed in quickly on Rachel. The divorce had been messy, and Matthew was set to win full custody of their 12-year-old daughter, Ava. Rachel claimed she was home all night, but a single phone record showed she'd called a number registered to a private exotic food supplier in Chicago, specializing in imported Japanese delicacies, including pufferfish.
We were stunned. No one just randomly buys pufferfish. It's not something you try out. You either know what you're doing, or you're sending a message.
Detective Carly Renshaw led the investigation. But Rachel had an alibi. Her new boyfriend, Eli Jennings, a local contractor. He swore under oath she'd never left the house that night. Phone data placed her cell at home. The case stalled, until a curious piece of evidence emerged. Matthew's Amazon account had a single recent order, an obscure, out-of-print novel titled Still Waters. In the book, the main character dies by pufferfish poisoning, with the killer escaping justice by mimicking a heart attack. That book had only 3 known public reviews. One was from a user named RayJ88. Investigators linked it back to an anonymous Reddit account belonging to Rachel's best friend, Jessica Dwyer. Jessica was subpoenaed. On the stand she denied everything, but her digital fingerprint said otherwise. She had researched tetrodotoxin toxicity, fish dissection, and, most chilling of all, how to dose without leaving a visible trace. The prosecution built a compelling case. Still, the jury remained divided, until day 9 of the trial when the final witness stepped into the courtroom.
My name is Ava Langford. I'm 13 now. I remember being really small and, nervous that day. My hands were shaking, but I tried to keep my voice steady. Mom told me not to open the fridge that day. She said there was something in there for a surprise, but I saw it. It was a little plastic container. There was a weird piece of fish inside. She said it was for Dad.
The courtroom fell silent. The jury, honestly, they gasped. The defense tried to challenge Ava's statement, saying it was just a child's confused memory. But the timeline, well, it aligned. Rachel had delivered a home-cooked dinner to Matthew's door the night before he died. He'd eaten alone, the container was never recovered. The jury deliberated for 5 hours, the verdict guilty on all counts. Rachel Langford was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But here's where the story takes a turn. 2 years later, a sealed envelope was discovered inside a safety deposit box registered to Matthew. Inside was a handwritten letter, dated 4 months before his death. It read, "If anything happens to me, look at Eli. Rachel's not capable of this, but he is. He said once, people can be erased if you feed them wrong." Eli Jennings vanished 3 days after Rachel's sentencing. His truck was found abandoned near the Canada border, and well, there's been no trace of him since. Was Rachel framed? Did she protect Eli? Or was the letter just paranoia from a man in a bitter custody battle? The truth may never be known. The case remains officially closed, but the whispers haven't vanished. This was Vanished Whispers True Crime. If you found this story compelling, subscribe and hit the bell for more mysterious real-life cases that blur the line between justice and secrets left buried. Detective Carly Renshaw. We interviewed several witnesses that night. Each account was more unsettling than the last. Witness 1. I saw someone near the Langford house, but it wasn't Matthew. They were wearing a dark hoodie, moving quickly. Police transcript. Audio distortion. Subject claims to have seen a figure disposing of something in the river. Detective Carly Renshaw. The evidence we found didn't match Matthew's DNA, but the timeline, it just doesn't add up. Narrator. As the investigation deepened, new evidence surfaced. Bloody footprints, a torn letter, and a phone call that was never traced. Just when the case seemed closed, a new piece of evidence emerged. A security tape with corrupted footage showing a shadowy figure entering the Langford home. Detective Carly Renshaw. We may never know who really killed Matthew Langford. The case remains open, the truth just out of reach. Narrator. And so the town is left with more questions than answers. Was justice truly served, or is the real killer still out there? Just as the town begins to settle into uneasy silence, a new voice breaks through. A previously unknown neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor Pierce, steps forward, her hands trembling, voice quivering with the weight of what she's about to reveal. Mrs. Pierce, voice disguised. I've tried to forget what I saw that night, but I can't keep it inside anymore. Around midnight I was closing my curtains when I noticed a figure pacing outside the Langford home. Not just pacing, waiting, watching. The streetlight flickered, and for a moment I saw their face, but it was masked, almost as if they knew someone might be watching. Narrator Mrs. Pierce's statement sends shockwaves through the investigation. She describes a gloved hand gripping something metallic, a crowbar maybe, or a flashlight, before the figure slipped around the side entrance, vanishing into the dark. Mrs. Pierce. There was a sense of urgency, like they were running out of time. I heard a faint crash from inside. I wanted to call someone, but I was scared. I told myself it was nothing. But now, I wish I hadn't stayed silent. Narrator. The town, already divided and haunted, is thrown into chaos once again. Was this the real killer, a copycat, or another thread in a tapestry of secrets? As the case is reopened, one thing becomes clear. The truth is more elusive, and more chilling than anyone ever imagined. As the town grapples with Mrs. Pierce's shocking revelation, the police focus their attention on a secondary suspect, a local handyman named Greg Thompson. His name surfaced after inconsistencies in his alibi and new unsettling evidence came to light. Today, we present a transcript from a heated police interrogation that could change everything. Detective Renshaw. Greg, we need you to be straight with us. Your timeline doesn't add up. You said you were at home the night of the incident, but multiple witnesses place you near the Langford residence. Explain that. Greg Thompson. I don't know what you're talking about. I was home alone. Those people must be mistaken. Detective Renshaw. Mistaken, or are you hiding something? We found a crowbar in your garage and it matches the description of the object Mrs. Pierce saw. Care to explain? Greg Thompson. A crowbar? I use that for work. Anyone could have one of those. Detective Renshaw. Greg, we also found traces of blood on that crowbar. We're running DNA tests as we speak. If it matches the victims, you're looking at serious charges. Greg Thompson. Blood? I don't know how that got there. Someone's setting me up. Detective Renshaw. So you're saying you're being framed. By whom, Greg? And why? Greg Thompson. I don't know. Maybe it was that masked figure Mrs. Pierce saw. Maybe they're trying to pin this on me. Narrator. The interrogation room crackles with tension. Greg's story is riddled with inconsistencies, but his fear seems genuine. As the DNA results loom, the investigation takes another dark turn. Detective Renshaw. Greg, if you're innocent, now's the time to tell us everything. Holding back won't help you. Greg Thompson. I'm telling you, I didn't do it. I saw something that night. Someone was lurking around the Langford house, but I didn't think much of it. I should have reported it, but I didn't want to get involved. Narrator Greg's admission adds another layer of complexity to the case. Is he the real culprit or just another pawn in a twisted game? The DNA results could provide a breakthrough, but until then, the truth remains shrouded in mystery. Just when the investigation seemed to be closing in on Greg Thompson, a new piece of forensic evidence arrives at the crime lab, one that threatens to upend everything the detectives thought they knew. The lab technician, gloves dusted with talcum, carefully examines the crowbar under ultraviolet light. Instead of one set of fingerprints, she finds two, overlapping, muddled, and distinctly different. The DNA test results finally come in. The blood on the crowbar is not the victim's. It belongs to an unknown individual, one who is not in any law enforcement database. Detective Renshaw receives the report with a furrowed brow. The evidence that once seemed damning now raises new questions. If the blood isn't the victim's, whose is it? And why were there two sets of prints, neither matching Greg Thompson or the victim? As the detectives pore over the findings, a chilling realization sets in. Someone else was at the scene, someone meticulous, someone who managed to remain invisible until now. The established narrative begins to unravel, and the case, once so clear-cut, is now clouded by uncertainty and fear. The screen lingers on the crowbar, now a symbol of doubt rather than guilt. The investigation must start anew, with the unsettling possibility that the true perpetrator is still out there, watching, waiting, and more dangerous than ever. Ava Langford sits alone in her dimly lit apartment, the weight of the trial pressing down on her. Her mind replays the events, the accusations, and the new forensic twist that has thrown the case into disarray. Her emotions are a tangled web of doubt, fear, and determination. She thought she knew the truth, but now, everything is uncertain. Cut to Ava pacing the room, her face a mask of anguish. Narrator: Ava's thoughts are a whirlwind. She trusted Detective Renshaw, believed in the evidence, but the revelation of the second set of fingerprints and the unknown blood has shattered her confidence. She knows she must confront Renshaw, to seek answers, to understand the truth. Cut to Ava entering the police station, her steps resolute yet hesitant. She approaches Detective Renshaw's office and knocks. Detective Renshaw, looking up surprised. "Ava, come in, what brings you here?" Ava, voice trembling. "Detective, I need to know, what's really going on? The new evidence, it doesn't add up. I thought we had the right person, but now, I'm not so sure." Detective Renshaw sighs, leaning back in his chair. "Ava, I understand your confusion. This new evidence has thrown us all, but we're doing everything we can to piece it together. We'll find the truth." Ava, tears welling up. "But what if the truth isn't what we thought? What if we're wrong? I can't live with that uncertainty. I need to know. I need to believe in something." Cut to a close-up of Detective Renshaw, his face etched with concern and determination. Detective Renshaw, softly. "Ava, I promise you, we will get to the bottom of this, but it's going to take time. We can't rush it. The real perpetrator is out there, and we will find them. Trust in the process, and trust in yourself." Narrator. Ava's eyes meet Renshaw's, and for a moment, there's a flicker of hope. She nods, wiping away her tears. Ava, whispering, "Thank you, Detective. I'll try." Cut to Ava walking out of the station, her steps more confident, her resolve strengthening. Narrator. Ava's journey is far from over. The doubts may linger, but her determination to seek the truth and her newfound trust in Detective Renshaw give her the strength to continue. The case is more complex than ever, but together, they will uncover the unsettling truth. The screen fades to black, leaving the audience with a sense of anticipation and hope. Narrator. Just as Ava steps out into the night, the investigation takes a dramatic turn. In a quiet corner of the precinct, an analyst pores over a trove of newly recovered digital evidence, fragments of deleted emails, encrypted chat logs, and a mysterious cloud backup. Cut to a glowing computer screen. Lines of code scroll by, then freeze on an unfamiliar username. The analyst's eyes widen. There, hidden among hundreds of mundane messages, is a string of encrypted emails between the victim and the secondary suspect, Eli Carter. The messages are terse, urgent, and laced with secrets. On-screen text: "Meet me at the old pier, no one can know." Another message: "If this gets out, we're both finished." The analyst's hands tremble as they forward the files to Detective Renshaw. Cut to Detective Renshaw, reading the emails in stunned silence. The connection between the victim and Eli, long dismissed as coincidental, now appears deliberate and deeply personal. Narrator. The revelation hits like a thunderbolt. The victim and Eli shared a hidden past, one filled with secrets, blackmail, and threats. Suddenly, motives multiply, and the case that seems so clear becomes a tangled web of betrayal and lies. As the digital evidence is unveiled, the stakes skyrocket. If Eli truly had something to hide, what else remains buried in the shadows? And who else might be involved? With every new discovery, the truth slips further away, leaving detectives and Ava to question everything they thought they knew. Cut to black. The tension is palpable. The hunt for answers has only just begun. Narrator. In the quiet dawn that follows a storm of revelations, Detective Renshaw gathers the principal players in a small, window-lit interview room. Ava sits at one end, her eyes weary but determined. Across from her, Eli Carter, haggard, defeated, finally breaks his silence. Cut to a close-up of Eli's trembling hands as he slides a battered notebook across the table. His voice shakes as he confesses, "I never meant for any of this to happen. The victim and I, we made mistakes. We tried to cover them up, but every lie just made things worse." Narrator. As Eli's confession unfolds, the tangled web of secrets is painstakingly unraveled. The emails, the threats, the late-night meetings at the pier, all explained. It was blackmail, yes, but also desperation, fear, and regret. The murder was an accident. A confrontation gone terribly wrong. Cut to Ava, tears streaming down her face, not out of anger, but relief. The truth, long buried, is finally in the open. Detective Renshaw's stern expression softens as he closes the case file, knowing justice, though imperfect, has been served. Montage: the jury reconvenes, this time unanimous. Eli is led away, but not before he turns to Ava, mouthing a silent apology. The community begins to heal. Neighbors gather, forgiveness in their eyes. The victim's family finds solace, clutching a letter of confession that brings long-awaited closure. Narrator: in the end, the case leaves scars, but also hope. Secrets may have torn lives apart, but the truth, once revealed, becomes the first step toward healing. As dawn breaks over the city, Ava steps outside, breathing in the crisp morning air, free, at last, from the shadows of doubt. Fade out. The story is over, but its lessons linger. That truth, no matter how deeply hidden, will always find its way to the light. Narrator: just when the dust seems to settle, another secret emerges from the shadows. In the quiet aftermath, as the evidence boxes are packed away, Detective Renshaw receives an anonymous tip, a worn leather diary found beneath a loose floorboard in the victim's study, the name embossed on the cover, Matthew Langford. Cut to gloved hands flipping through brittle, ink-stained pages. Each entry pulses with raw emotion and veiled confessions. Matthew's words reveal a labyrinth of hidden connections, illicit affairs, secret alliances, and a pact of silence between the victim and those closest to him. The diary uncovers that Ava and Eli were not the only ones entangled. Matthew and the victim shared a relationship marked by obsession and betrayal, their motives far deeper than anyone realized. As Renshaw reads aloud, the room grows tense. The diary exposes quiet threats, coded messages, and a chilling admission. If our secret ever comes to light, none of us will be safe. Each revelation fractures the fragile trust among the survivors, casting suspicion in new directions. Montage: Ava clutching the diary, her face a mask of disbelief. Eli in his cell, hearing the news and collapsing in despair. The victim's family reeling as old wounds are ripped open once more. Narrator: the truth, it seems, is never simple. For every answer, another question rises from the depths. As the city awakens, a sense of unease lingers. The case is closed, but the echoes of the hidden diary remind everyone. Some secrets refuse to stay buried. Fade to black. Narrator: as whispers of the hidden diary ripple through the courthouse, Ava Langford finds herself unable to let go of its haunting revelations. The corridors are nearly empty, echoes of hurried footsteps fading behind her. She spots Olivia Hart, the prosecution's star witness, standing alone by the window, her hands trembling as she scrolls through her phone. Ava approaches, her voice barely above a whisper, but laced with urgency. Ava: you lied on the stand, Olivia. The diary proves it. Why? Olivia's eyes dart, panic surfacing. Olivia, you don't know what you're talking about. I told the truth. Ava steps closer, her words sharp. Ava, you said you never saw Matthew in the house that night, but the diary says otherwise. You were there. What are you hiding? A long pause. Olivia's defenses crack, her voice breaking. Olivia: if I told the truth, I'd lose everything. He threatened me, Ava. Matthew. He said if I spoke out, I'd regret it. Ava's breath catches, the weight of a new secret settling between them. Ava: what did he do, Olivia? What did you see? Olivia glances around, her whisper barely audible. Olivia: it wasn't just Matthew and the victim, there was someone else, someone none of you ever suspected. I saw them together. That night changed everything. The hallway grows colder, the truth twisting deeper. Narrator: in that charged silence, Ava realizes the web of lies stretches further than she ever imagined. The case, thought to be resolved, fractures open once more, with a revelation that could unravel everyone's fate. Fade out on Olivia's haunted eyes and Ava's trembling hands clutching the diary. Narrator: in the dim light of her cluttered office, Detective Carly Renshaw sits hunched over the case files, every page a labyrinth of contradictions. But tonight, she is determined to find the truth, no matter where it leads. The confession, the diary, and Olivia's shaken testimony have all pointed in different directions, until now. With a deep breath, Carly sifts through a stack of overlooked evidence bags, her fingers pausing on a sealed envelope marked uncatalogued. She slices it open, her hands trembling. Inside, a memory card barely bigger than a fingertip but heavy with possibility. Heart pounding, Carly inserts it into her laptop, hope and dread warring inside her. The screen flickers, then a grainy video loads. On the footage, the night of the murder, a shadowy figure slips through the side entrance of the victim's house. The timestamp matches the supposed alibi of the prime suspect. But as the figure turns, the camera catches a glimpse, a distinct scar, a flash of jewelry. Carly's eyes widen in disbelief. It's not Matthew. It's not Olivia. It's Ava Langford, Matthew's own sister, the one who stood by him through every accusation.
Ava, voice trembling, I never meant for any of this to happen. I just wanted to protect him. But when I saw what he'd done, I panicked. I tried to cover it up, but it only made things worse.
Detective Carly Renshaw softly, "The truth matters, Ava. It's the only way forward for all of us."
Narrator. With Ava's confession, the pieces finally fall into place. Matthew is exonerated, Olivia is freed from suspicion, and the Langford family faces the painful reality of betrayal and forgiveness. As dawn breaks, Detective Renshaw closes the case file at last, the weight of the truth settling over everyone. The case is closed. Justice, though bittersweet, has finally been served. In the end, the truth brings not just answers, but the hope of healing, and a chance for everyone to begin again. Fade out on the rising sun, the shadows of the past finally lifting.